What you are about to hear is an opinion piece written by me. My source material is in the description box below. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Responding to Tara Babcock. As many of you will know by now, I have been a big fan and supporter of fellow YouTuber Tara Babcock for some time. So much so that I even did a video showing support for her in opposition to those who bash her and call her a thought. Even before this, Tara had been pretty supportive of me and has tried to get my name out there by plugging my channel during some of her videos, most notably her Friday Night Mail segments. Some of you may also recall, on one of her FNM videos, she received one of my letters and said she was going to save it for its own video because I had told her its subject matter was very important to me. Tara was good enough to give me an advanced look at her response, and I wasn't happy to say the least. The simple fact that she said the letter was about how I descended into the MRA subculture set a bad tone before she even opened the envelope. And at least half of what she said sounded like she was excusing society's double standards towards men. I will now explain how I feel about the things she said. Disputing my North Country findings. It's my opinion that the reason you disagree with my views regarding the conduct of some of the female cast towards the men on the North Country set is because you've acted in a similar way while receiving similar responses from certain men. For you to agree with me would be an admission of your own acts of harassment and force you to reassess your own behavior. You are the only person, male or female, to take this position regarding my North Country findings. In my research, I found 2 interviews with quotes that I feel justify my conclusions. The first coming from actress Rusty Schwimmer's Night at the Movies interview, where she describes one particular day of filming as filled with let the women sexually harass the male crew. She also referred to it as Turnabout Day, claiming she thought the men enjoyed it, even though she described them as being intimidated. Sure, Rusty, whatever helps you sleep at night. Then, of course, there's the most telling quote of all, that being from director Niki Caro, proclaiming, "I've never seen so many Hollywood macho male crew members blush so crimson and be so silent for so long because the women were just having a ball." Say whatever you like, Tara, but I'm a guy, and when we're enjoying attention from a female, we don't go silent. I also managed to get in touch with 4 members of the crew, 2 of whom gave me a no-comment response, while a third guy said he enjoyed what went on, but wouldn't be surprised if some people felt differently. The 4th guy tried to compare getting his ass slapped by one of the actresses as how athletes on sports teams interact. However, when I asked him if he could have gotten away with slapping her ass in return, he had no answer for me. In the end, he seemed to be reevaluating his position on things after he read an early draft of my opinion piece. Holding others to a certain standard. I have the right to hold any movement or group I associate with to a certain standard. That's why I ended up making Thoughtless the Tara Babcock experience to begin with. Besides, your references to the real Scotsman fallacy is hypocritical, considering what you said in FNM 150 about busting guys' balls for not acting the way you think a man should. Who are you to decide how a man should react to something while telling me not to do it? Domestic violence. You hide behind the men are bigger and control the money as an excuse for why there is less concern for male victims of domestic violence. None of that excuses the lack of funding to help men. If a man is on the receiving end of the abuse, then clearly his size and wealth are irrelevant. Women also tend to use weapons and have attacked men in their sleep, including some setting their significant others on fire. If 43% of victims are men, then 43% of government funding to help domestic abuse victims should go towards helping those male victims of dogs and men. A dog getting hurt by accident would not garner more sympathy than a woman or a child, nor should it. People in today's society would step over a dying man to help a dog simply because it's a man who's dying, and they could care less. Your naturally in society argument is both pathetic and inexcusable. If the day should ever come that I develop a sense of humor so morbid that I find the mutilation of another person, even somebody I don't like, humorous, then I hope I drop dead at that exact moment. If you are the victim of such a horrible act and want to use humor as a way to cope with it, that's your prerogative. Mocking somebody else's mistreatment is intolerable. It's understandable why people laugh when a guy's ass is grabbed. I don't have to understand why disgusting people find the mistreatment of others funny, no matter how minor the act, and I hope I never do. This is the reason why men who are victims of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and domestic violence have such a hard time coming forward to begin with. You say men should speak up, but then say it's understandable if people laugh at them when they are assaulted. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would a man come forward if his complaint is only going to lead to him being mocked and his masculinity questioned? The male sex drive. If the male sex drive is so much stronger than the females, how do you explain the fact that there are women who harass and assault men to begin with? How do you explain the success of movie franchises like 50 Shades of Grey or Magic Mike? Or the popularity of establishments like Chippendales and touring gentlemen's reviews like American Males or The Thunder from Down Under? Even if we do have the higher sex drive, that still doesn't make it okay for women to just walk up and grab random men whenever or wherever they feel like. That excuse is as lame as she must have wanted it because of how she was dressed. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this opinion has more to do with your own behavior towards men than anything else. Considering your comments about being grabbed in your 69 Assumptions About Me video, this all seems pretty hypocritical in my opinion. Emotional reaction. How can I not be emotional about male abuse victims not being taken seriously and women not being held to the same standards they expect men to live up to? Check out any and all of my videos, Tara, not just the North Country one or the one praising you, but all of them. X2, the harassment of Hugh Jackman, Feminazi, the Amanda Barker experience, or Why I'm Boycotting Wonder Woman 1984, Part 2. All three of these videos feature one common thing, examples of women behaving towards men in ways they wouldn't want men to behave towards them, and doing so brazenly, and in some cases bragging about it to the media, or laughing about it on a DVD commentary in the case of X2 X-Men United, with no repercussions whatsoever. It isn't even necessarily about the reaction of it isn't even necessarily about the men's reaction to these actions so much as the hypocrisy of the women doing these things to begin with. Understand my haters' perspective. You want me to try and see things from the point of view of the people who brought us #KillAllMen, #MEnAreTrash, and #Ban Father's Day, who refuse to acknowledge that men have any problems and laugh at men who are abused. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Why don't you just ask a Jew to try and see things from a Nazi's point of view, or ask a black man to try to better understand David Duke? Feminism is no different than any other hate group, except that they hide behind the facade of fighting for equality. All you have to do is replace Jews with men and substitute Zionism with patriarchy, and you've summed up what feminism really is. and what their final solution would be if they ever found a way to procreate without us. Just read the book, The Scum Manifesto, and you'll see the truth. The Red Pill. The fact that you've seen the documentary The Red Pill only serves to make your views and opinions and excuses that much more offensive. If I thought you would respond like this, I'd never have sent that letter to begin with. I'm seriously considering the idea that you gave these responses just to piss people off so you can bring more viewers to your vlog channel. Listen to the other side. All we ever hear is the other side. That's the problem. Closing thoughts. In a word, I'm disappointed. After the things you said in your Why I'm Not a Feminist video, I expected this to go a lot different. However, I want it to be understood that I don't want any MRAs harassing Tara for her perspective on things. I've talked to Brian from Honey Badger Radio and asked him to invite Tara to appear on a fireside chat episode, and even recommended that he include the always level-headed Prim Reaper in the discussion. In the meantime, Tara, I think I need a break from you. Your responses to my letter seemed like you were simply disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing. Either that or you have no clue what being an MRA is, despite having actually seen the Red Pill documentary. Quite frankly, I'm not sure how that's even possible, but I'd prefer that to the other option. Regardless of all this, I will be leaving my Thoughtless, the Tara Babcock Experience video up because I consider it to be factually accurate. Because you aren't a thought, and you have been great about trying to help me get my name out there in YouTube land. At the same time, I'm going to take a break from corresponding with you by any means, including snail mail, email, or on social media. I'll continue to follow you on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, unless you decide to block me, but you won't hear a peep out of me for a while. That's how agitated I am by this. I really wish I'd never sent that letter to begin with. Thank you for watching.